State lawmakers are meeting in socially distanced locations here in the city today for a special legislative session to address several issues, including the state's budget. CBS 6's Shannon Lilly has been looking into how much the pandemic impacted revenues, the amendments being proposed, and how it will change spending priorities, and joins us live now with what she found out. Shannon?
Well, Cheryl, first and foremost, Governor Northam says the 2020-22 budget should focus on the long term, taking into account the unpredictability of the COVID-19 pandemic. He says we are in a crisis, and he has prepared a budget that addresses that.
In terms of the fiscal year 2020 budget, Governor Northam says it was built on revenues that were steady and growing. This chart shows both the U.S. and Virginia economies growing on par with the official forecast through February. But employment started to decline in March with the arrival of COVID-19. Including transfers, Governor Northam says the fiscal year 2020 general fund finished $232 million below forecast. In Tuesday's Joint Monies Committee meeting, Governor Northam announced plans for amendments to the 2020-22 budget.
In the budget I present to you, I am choosing not to reinstate spending on my own top priorities.
That means priorities like raises for teachers, cost of tuition, access to affordable health care, among other things, may have to be put on hold until January.
To be clear, I am doing this for one reason alone: to preserve our financial options so that we can make it through this pandemic.
To make it through the pandemic, Northam says his new budget focuses on helping people stay in their homes by allocating $88 million to combat evictions. He says $85 million will help expand access to broadband and high-speed internet. In his proposed budget, Northam also says he plans to focus on police reform, including better training for police officers and more input from citizens.
The package that I'm presenting you reaffirms that we need to continue to make it easier to vote, not harder.
Northam says to do that, people need to be able to vote safely with secure boxes to drop off ballots in addition to the standard postal service delivery.
But please know this: the Department of Elections is already working to prepare to start mailing ballots in just 4 weeks. For these reforms to matter in November, we must make them now. I ask you to move quickly to pass this budget because the stakes are high for our country.
And right now we're seeing several groups gather outside the Science Museum here in Virginia, rallying for what they believe should be a priority for lawmakers. Among other things, Northam says $15 million of the new budget would go towards dam rehabilitation projects that can't wait. He says we saw how needed this is during all the flooding that we experienced over the weekend. And lawmakers will continue this conversation in the special session today. Working for you in Richmond, I'm Shannon Lilly, CBS 6 News.